have a topic you want me to cover, comment down below or submit your request to my email. And just a reminder, this podcast will be on all platforms. For instance, say if you don't want to see the whole live stream, we have episodes segmented and drop after the show for each topic. And the full unedited raw version will be uploaded on Twitch and Rumble. Now, if you're wondering, David, why are you looking over here? Why are you looking down here, not at the camera or at this camera here that I'm recording from? Well, I'm live streaming on multiple platforms, a video. So my shorts, like the TikTok versions, will be uploaded on TikTok and Instagram. So if you want a 5-second clip, if you want a 10-second clip, just small little segments, you know what I'm saying, to draw the viewer in, these small little reels to draw you in. If you're looking for just the reels, that will be posted on TikTok, Instagram, and on my D-Band's vlogs channel, right? Now, this is here. The camera I'm looking at here will be on my main channel where the 1-hour videos, this will be segmented, and the segments will be released after each and every episode, so I don't have the time, I don't have to go in the description and put a timestamp for each and every segment that I'm talking about, which I'm not going to do. The full unedited and raw version of these videos will be on Twitch, Rumble. That's pretty much it. If you want the podcast, go to Spotify or Apple Music to access the podcast, which is provided by Anchor FM. Let's get into the show right after this. Welcome back. Let's get right into the show. And the first thing I want to start off with is the Spurs. Now, as you follow me, I'm a huge Wemby fan, right? Before he came in, I was a little skeptical. I was like, okay, too skinny. But then I started seeing the progression. And he's 22. And this is what I have to say. If he wins a ring this year, despite all the odds, and he played in one of the most hardest Western conferences of all time. You know, you had the Lakers, you had the Rockets, you had Timberwolves, you had the Clippers, you had the Warriors, you had so many teams in the West so stacked up, it was impossible to get through. And then you had the refs/OKC Thunder, right? And you had the best player on the planet, which was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Wemby's 22 and he's carrying a bunch of role players. De'Aaron Fox isn't who he was, but Wemby is out here carrying a bunch of role players. And with that being said, Wemby became the best defender in the league. He could guard on a perimeter. Like, he's average at guarding on a perimeter. Despite being 7'6", he's average guarding on the perimeter. And with that being said, Wemby, he's unstoppable in the paint. He's unstoppable in the paint when it comes to defense. Teams have to scheme. They have to find different schemes in order to get out the paint. They're shooting more threes due to this. And he eliminated the Thunder. Then he came into this series cooking. And despite all the memes and stuff, oh, Wemby only did this and that. If you actually watch the game, Wemby is sitting there getting fouled 24/7 by Karl Anthony Towns. He's grabbing him the whole entire play. Now, I'm not going to show that much footage due to the fact the NBA have the copyright stuff, and I don't want to go through, a whole wormhole of BS. But I'm not going to do that. So that's what's going on with Spurs. I think Mitch is one of the worst coaches in the league, despite Spurs being in the, finals. He's barely drawing up plays for Wemby. He's having the role players like Stephon Castle that keeps messing up throughout the whole game, and he has some clutch moments, but he is locking up Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson is by far the reason why the Knicks are in the situation they're in. Like, the reason why they're losing. He has some fourth quarter action, but throughout the game, the turnovers, the trolling he's doing, the last 2-minute stretch, he was terrible. He shot one big shot, and that was it. 2 for 11 in games, like before the halftime. Like, he's been, but that's because of Spurs defense. Castle, Vassell, they found a way to guard Brunson, right? Dylan Harper, he's playing like his dad. He's cooking. They're letting, the refs are allowing them to be physical, but here's the problem with that. They allow the Knicks to be physical, but when Wemby returns to energy, there's a problem. Whenever somebody, if you go throughout the whole entire Western Conference, people are bullying Wemby, they're pushing them, they're doing all of this to Wemby, and the moment he responds, the moment he retaliates, there's a problem. Karl Anthony Towns throughout Game 3 was grabbing him the whole entire time, pulling him. And then all I see is people showing the same thing that he did to Brunson, like pushing Brunson's head. But Brunson had his hand on a jersey. He was grabbing Wemby's jersey. Just because Brunson is weak and small, and Wemby just threw him aside, Wemby's the bad guy because he's the Giant. Right? The Giant's going to be the bad guy no matter what. I'm hoping the Spurs win, and after what I saw, the Knicks fans grabbing jerseys and ripping people and beating up elderly people, I hope the Knicks get swept, and I hope they never make it back to the finals. Because with this, it's embarrassing. And all New York fans are like that. I'm generalizing. Like, I'm doing that. Because that's what they were all like, right? New York is the rooted state. But besides that, all I ask for the Spurs, Mitch, I know you guys watch this. I have NBA credentials. I'm media. I'm with you guys. Mitch, draw up plays for Wemby. Stop letting Castle, stop letting Fox act stupid. Stop drawing up more plays for Cornette than Wemby. If Wemby's in the paint, put him in, give him the ball. Shaq said it, everybody say it. Wemby's in the paint, give him the ball. There's many times you can do pick and rolls with Wemby and De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox was doing that with Sabonis. He was very efficient with it, even though Sabonis isn't as at Wemby's level. But run those plays. And then you get the role players involved. But hey, I digress. What are you guys' thoughts? Who do you guys have winning? I have the Spurs in 7. What do you say? Comment down below. We'll be right here after the break.
In Indianapolis, a beacon of hope stands out among the struggles of violence and poverty. We Care Indy is a remarkable organization that seeks to empower young people by providing valuable guidance and employment opportunities. Their focus is media training with teenagers ages 14 through 19. Their plan is both innovative and ambitious, blending mentorship programs with the career development. The cornerstone of this plan is the creation of career centers, a hub of inspiration that provides training programs in a variety of fields including media, construction, IT, and entrepreneurship. This year's focus will teach young people the skills of videography, photography, video editing, graphic design, lighting, audio, social media, marketing, website development, and business plan writing. Get ready to take flight with We Care Indy. Committed to holistic care, we value character development as much as career training. That's why we provide a comprehensive mentoring program that covers a variety of essential skills, including conflict resolution, SMART goal settings, financial literacy, character development, leadership training, job and college readiness, time management, group work skills, and mental health awareness. We strongly believe that these skills will not only help youth succeed in their professional endeavors, but also in their personal lives. We Care Indie is more than just a youth program. The program is designed to ensure our youth develop the necessary skills to become experts in the aspects of media, as well as continuously building their character. The youth will gain knowledge and have opportunities for real practice and implementation. Youth will be partnered with a mentor who will support their development throughout the program. While working with their mentor throughout the year, our youth will fulfill project requests from local partnerships within the community. These partnerships will provide the internship opportunities within local companies, churches, and other organizations. We kindly ask for your financial support and partnership with We Care Indie as we strive to positively impact the lives of our youth. To support We Care Indie, visit WeCareIndie.org. A gift of $10,000 will sponsor a youth for a year, which includes covering the youth salary, training, equipment, curriculum, and field trips. A gift of $5,000 will fuel a youth growth by sponsoring their training, resources, curriculum, and memorable field trips. A gift of $2,500 will sponsor media equipment and software for a year. Join We Care Indie as we take flight, inspiring our youth to believe anything is possible. Go to WeCareIndie.org.
Let's get into topic number one, because that was my little Spurs rant. Here's topic number one. New movie predictions of 2025. The first one is Supergirl breaking even, and it already has, even though it isn't out yet, but I've repeated this many times to the Snyder cultists and people that's not in the film industry like me. The box office is not what the theaters look at. We look at the ROI, the return on investment. I have a whole video that I'm going to link down describing how the movie theaters do what they do, what we calculate, and what we look at from studio heads. Numbers are the studios and theaters themselves. This includes Warner Bros., accountants, and etc. The crazy thing is that they won't discuss the ROI in any of these videos, which means the return on investment. It hasn't been released for the current Superman film due to it still being played in theaters, and it usually takes months to 2 years to publicly release the return on investment, the ROI. Most of this is due to limited public disclosure. Movie studios are generally not transparent with the final overall ROI for specific films. These are usually discussions for investors, accountants, studios, execs. You know, James Gunn, if he was just a regular director, not the head of Warner Bros., he wouldn't worry about the ROI. He's just a director. Mainstream idea, not most accurate. Like I said, the mainstream idea with these major grifter YouTube channels, these online movie expert accountants keep on using for this argument is the production cost times 2.5. Let's go into it. So the production cost times 2.5. In Superman's case, production cost is $220 million times 2.5, which equals $550 million, which is the break-even point. Now, that's flawed because that's not what the studios use. This is what the studios use. The most accurate formula that the studios use is production costs plus marketing times 1.5. So after doing the math of that, for Superman 2025, it's $220 million plus $150 million, which give you 370, and you times that by 1.5, which give you 555 million. Whenever you see product of this film being marketed constantly before the release date, those companies paid the studio to do a co-branding deal with the movie. So this might have brought in over $100 million before release. This is profit not a lot of normies know about. Blockbusters like Thunderbolts, Endgame, No Way Home, Civil War, Dark Knight Returns, Avengers 2012, Man of Steel. In this film, this is a common occurrence. And these numbers aren't split, for fact, these numbers aren't split with theaters. That money goes right to the studio. The marketing makes tons of money. Now, here's one thing that the Snyder bots steady, like they keep on saying this online. You guys are going to see this a lot. And Chesterville and all of these. Let's also use adjusted for inflation. They keep saying it. We have to adjust for inflation. I keep seeing this, but it's a terrible and untrue argument. So for Zack Snyder's Man of Steel 2013, the production budget for that film was $225 million. Adjusted for inflation is $310.5 million. The marketing for that film was $100 million. And adjusted for inflation, which is $138 million. The total studio cost for that film was $325 million. Adjusted for inflation, it would be $448.5 million. So the total revenue after everything for Man of Steel, it made a total net profit of $59 million. So this is a guy that works for DC, Marvel. I work with them. I do marketing, digital marketing, like that type of stuff. And then sometimes I did BTS when I was in like college and interning. But right now I do digital marketing with Marvel, NBA, NFL, but mostly right now Marvel. So, and then the films I was on was Doomsday, and then with James Gunn was this Supergirl film, and then I was also on Wonder Woman. But I haven't been on any other Marvel sets besides Avengers Doomsday and Wonder Man. Not Wonder Woman, but Wonder Man. And then with the DCU is only the Supergirl. But I didn't do marketing. I would just BTS, like taking pictures and that stuff on set. And that's like a small time freelance gig. And people that's in the film, that's wanting to get in the film industry, this is directly to those college students and those high schoolers trying to get into it. Apply for freelance jobs, internships. They do a lot of BTS photography, on-set photographers, and they pay like a good $13 an hour to $25 an hour, depending on your experience level. Or sometimes it's free, and then you put that down on your resume. Oh, I was part of this large production. I did BTS. Here's some of my stuff that I'm allowed to share. That's your way. That's your ticket into the industry. This is for those that wants to get into the industry. But moving on, the Spider-Man box office, the final prediction for Supergirl to me is 700 to 900 million. I believe it's going to be between those thresholds. That's going to be the total for me. I'm not going to do opening. I'm not going to say opening night for that because I'm not going to say it's going to flop. I think opening night is going to be 500 to 600 opening night, but then at the end it's going to make total of 700-900 depending on how the audience goes with it. And it's not going to go well due to the fact that there's fake conservatives, MAGA conservatives. They're fake Republicans. They're not real. They're just rage bait people online that took the main actress words out of context. They didn't read the whole thing. They was like, she said something about Christian dads, but it wasn't disrespecting Christian dads. I'm going to put the quote up in post, but I'm live, so you guys will see it. Next, a Spider-Man box office prediction, 900 million opening night and to $1.9 billion. So $1.9 billion. And then here's a little scooper. The total runtime is going to be 2 hours and 30 minutes. Now, Marvel had it at 2:45, and Kevin Feige and them wanted it more, around 2 hours and 10 minutes, and then let the credits, and then add. Okay. But, how do I say? All right. But, yeah, I'm going to stick on the numbers. 2:30 runtime. That's going to be the opening for that. And now on to Avengers Doomsday. Since I've been on set, since I know what's going on within parts of the script I was able to read and the times I was on there and just looking at the numbers and what they're pushing in and what promos, and I know when the first teaser trailer drops. It's like, here's the thing. The first teaser is going to drop in the next, it's going to drop in a couple weeks. Actually, a couple weeks. The first teaser is scheduled to drop in a couple weeks. I'm going to leave it vague right there take it how you want it. You can be like sources, but you're talking to somebody that does marketing. But yeah, that is scheduled, and if it doesn't, it's going to drop that day. The day I have marked down here, it's going to drop that day, due to the fact that they can't go over that day because they're losing money if they change the date, and they don't want to lose money there because they need, based on what I'm seeing, what Marvel needs, they need to make every dollar. They could have done the Super Bowl, but most of us was like advice. I was like, what's the point of spending more on the Super Bowl when we could do it on a bigger day? And the summer is a better way to showcase the trailers or whatever. I don't get why Sony didn't do the Spider-Man thing directly on the Super Bowl. That was kind of dumb. But that's them. That's their loss. That's Sony. That's not a Marvel thing. But I know with Disney and Marvel, what they want to do with Avengers Doomsday. Here's the thing, without spoiling. Here's the thing. Avengers Doomsday, the teasers, is a story. It's a story being told. There's going to be a few teasers dropping before the main trailer drops. So there's going to be one, and there's going to be two. And then they're going to be weeks apart. It's not going to be like way far apart. But then you have the main trailer, and then they're not doing any small spots. They don't want to do that. The main trailer is going to drop like around the time they redo I think Infinity War and Endgame in theaters. Because there's some scenes added onto those. Everybody knows this, but there's scenes added onto those. And let me confirm one of the leaks. Right? There's one, all the leaks that's been on X, all of them been wrong besides one. But here's another thing. With this teaser, there's gonna be some controversy, and I already know the chuds, the fake, conservative right online rage baiters, like these grifters, they're gonna hate it. They gonna find a way to hate it, because there's a scene with another character in there. But that's all I'm gonna say. Those characters have a significant role in it, but you won't see them in the next film. But that's what they have. But here, let's get to the numbers thing when it comes to Doomsday. Right? The first teaser has to drop on this specific date due to the fact that Marvel doesn't want to spend more. They do not want to miss a deadline. They do not want, because this is already put in. This is already into the system. That's how the movies and all that, when they get things confirmed and stuff, they already have it on the calendar. They already have it on the schedule. So if Marvel goes past that and wants to extend it and push it back, they're spending more money that they need to make for Secret Wars. Now, I know a little bit about Secret Wars, but I don't know, I only know 0.5% about it. Right? I know 0.5. I'm not part of that. I'm handling Doomsday stuff. If I do Secret Wars, hey, y'all better pay me millions. Hey, no. But that's, with this, they just want to see audience reactions or whatever. So they're going to, what Marvel's doing, they're filtering out a lot of the rage bait channels and all that. They want to go through people they're looking at the channels that's more fair, more neutral. So you have people like Real Rejects or the Angry Joe Show, you have the John Campias, you have Blind Wave, you have the normies, you have those type of people. You also have, you guys are not going to like this, a lot of the, there's some left-wing people on here too. Believe it or not, he's neutral. I thought he was more of a grifter hater, but he's neutral. They're going to be looking at the Tyrone Magnus. Another person that's going to be neutral in this is, what's the channel name? I don't forgot about it, but that person's also, Eric Debunks. D-Eric, I'm just going to say Eric Debunks. He's one of the most neutral channels out there. He's going to give the positive and, he's going to get the negative reviews. So they're looking at channels like that. Eric Debunks, the John Campions, Real Rejects, the rock stars. But they were not going to take the rock stars 100% word to the fact that they're going to like everything they see most of the time. They want people that's mostly neutral. Just to see these channels that have these huge fan bases, just to see, okay, that's what's going on here. I'm not going to check out we're not going to do the Jester Bells because marketing. We have those channels filter out because Marvel pay attention to that. Their numbers go. So here's the thing. Here's another thing what Marvel does in Disney. When it comes to these grifter channels, what they do is, if you see a lot of grifter channels like Critical Drinker, sometimes they make a lot of Marvel videos, right? Here's what the marketing team does. If there's so many bad rage bait type of titles and it's nothing but, just misinformation, Marvel and YouTube go hands in hand, just like UMG and Spotify and the DSPs. They go hand in hand. Marvel and Disney, they're giving YouTube's making tons of money with that, with the mouse. The mouse is giving them lots of money. Their partnership is peak. So these channels, y'all can't say blackballed, but when Doomsday come out, these channels' numbers are going to decrease because Marvel, their team's not paying attention to them. Yes, with the freaking She-Hulks and stuff and the pandemic and all that, yeah, those channels were paid attention to a lot. But right now, with their biggest film of all time, Doomsday, what I know is a panic. On set, everybody was panicking. A lot of people, it was vibes, but people were panicking most of the time due to the fact that this film is the biggest film in Marvel's history. The biggest since Blade, since Marvel Studios even became established. This is bigger than Iron Man. This is bigger than the Spider-Mans. This is bigger than Endgame and Infinity War and Civil War and Avengers. When I tell you this film is a make or break for Marvel. They're doing what they're telling you is Secret Wars is going to reset. Here's the thing though. When you guys watch Doomsday, it might seem like, oh shoot, they're about to go to this world and they're about to reset. No. They're just going to tell them everything because script is still being written and all of that and going through other stuff. And then the pre-production for Secret Wars and location, the scout, and that's still going on. They already have the actors. They already have some stuff getting ready to shoot, but they're doing post-production while on set and trying to do some post-production before pre-production so they can save the budget. That's what we did with Doomsday. So what we're doing here is when that teaser comes out, they're paying attention to everything. Okay, this is going here. I want to put something at the end of that Spider-Man. Sony already okayed it that leads into the film. So y'all going to have to stay during the credits. But Doomsday is... How do I say this without giving anything away? The teaser for Doomsday is going to tell Marvel everything. And then when the official trailer drops, we already know what's coming from the audience. We know what the audience like. This teaser is not going to show that much. The teaser is only going to show 1.5% of the film. But you guys will get a sense of what the film is. But then when the actual trailer drops, that's when you start seeing different marketing from Marvel towards the Doomsday. Like right after the teaser, all throughout September and October, you guys are going to see different marketing, you will see Marvel do stuff that they haven't done, right? And there's select theaters that they're going to do, and they're going to invite a lot of these channels, these neutral channels, and have them review the film. And this is going to be between November, like throughout November and December. I'm going to say late November, early December. Because they want, the media reviews of the film and all that, but they want the general audience review. This is going to be a small little thing that Marvel hasn't really done much. They've done it before, but it's going to be, no, James Gunn did it, but Marvel hasn't really done it for a film like this, right? You're going to see some people might debunk me in the comments saying, Endgame Infinity War, but no, that's not what's going on. What they're doing is they're going to invite some fans, some critics, they go send invitations to these channels. And there's more. There's a list of 30 channels I have, but the popular ones are going to get this. Oh yeah, the rock stars. I take that back. Rock stars. Because I was for it, but there was other people against. But I think they should. Right? They're the biggest Marvel people there. MCU. They carried everything. So I'm gonna say it's 100% rock stars are going to get an invite. They can discuss the invite, but with the packet, what they're going to get, the email that's going to be sent, will say, can I share? You can say this and that, but the moment you spoil, it's the moment you're done. We can do a lot. Marvel can, like with these channels, right? Marvel can literally go down a list. I haven't given a suggestion, but being around them, I know how they operate. Marvel and Disney would look at these channels and be like, oh, a lot of copyrighted material. I can easily strike this channel down with a press of a button. Same for these channels that's listed. They can easily strike these channels down for spoiling with the press of a button. And people think, oh, it's just Feige. No. There's people 10 times more crazier than Feige. You got the average, you got somebody that might be chilling in a wheelchair that you walk by, but you don't know that person works for Marvel and is high up in the department, right? So you have my channel, you be like, oh yeah, he's probably lying. I don't care what people think, but actually I do care what people think, but you could literally, you couldn't tell. And John's not going to, I know like John Campea or the Robert Meyer Burnett's, they're not going to go out and be like, oh yeah, I received the thing from Marvel to see an early screening. I'm a fan of them, but there's 9 times out of 10 they're going to get that. They're probably not going to discuss it, but they're going to get it. Because I know for fact, plus that Daniel guy on X, that Insider Scoop, he didn't get the full script, but he got a portion of it. And I know John and Rob, I don't know if they talked about it, but because I've been busy doing marketing, and I've been busy, but I haven't kept up on their channels that much. But Rob and John Campea, I believe they did. There's channels that receive scripts from Marvel. There's channels that receive some type of spoiler information, but not 100% spoiler. All they know is less than 10%. I know a total of, when it comes to Doomsday, I know 60%. That's a lot, but I know 60%. Read half I know 60% of what's going on. And due to the fact that, the marketing and numbers, I have to know what's going on. I have to see, all right, this is what's going on film. Oh, I want to make sure this is right and this. But that's just to get the movie out there. And like I said earlier in all my videos, what we pay attention to in Marvel and Disney is the ROI, return on investment. We do care about the box office numbers a little bit, but that's just for what you guys do. And then what they usually do is some weird method where they do this times this, but no, Marvel does a whole, I'm going to link my whole video explaining what we do at Marvel and Disney, how we calculate these numbers. Another YouTuber that called this out was Eric Debunks. Eric Debunks this. I'm kind of suspicious of his channel because I was like, he might know somebody that works in marketing at Marvel, or he's just smart. He's a smart person that look things up and actually read. A lot of people do that. I know John Campea knows his information too, but Eric, he said in one of his videos the same thing I said, like something similar, but not to the detailed version I did. But he said something similar. This is how we calculate. Like, this is how they calculate. I was like, oh, wait. He on point. But, yeah. Besides that, what say you? What are your thoughts? Comment down below.
Hi, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Rachel.
And together we have one goal: to help you win. My wife and I are both certified fitness coaches with a unique program designed with your success in mind.
Here at Stay Consistent Fitness, our unique program and state-of-the-art facility have both been crafted to offer you a personal, effective, and motivating experience.
We not only believe in our program, but we also believe in you.
We will work alongside you to help teach you the keys to losing weight and keeping it off for good.
Your journey to a healthier you begins with consistency, and we're here to help you learn how.
So schedule your fitness assessment today by clicking the link below.
Go check out D. Hayes Productions merch store. If you drink coffee or tea, go here to get you a mug alongside a coaster with my logo on it. We also offer t-shirts for both men, women, and children sizes. We also have hoodies and sweaters. Now, if you're wondering, where do I go to get some of this merch? Well, if you're watching this video right now, go on D. Hayes Productions, go down to the link in the description below. You'll click on the link, which will direct you to the store. And you'll see all the options on the website. Go purchase you some merch and support the movement. Now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Turning the page now, quit burning daylight. This is the first day of the rest of my life.
Here's how I started. Hello YouTube, welcome back to Flawless TV. This is your host, David Hayes. Now, a lot of you guys been worried about Red Scar. What is Red Scar? What is this film? What is Battle of the MCs? What is different? What is Flawless Media? David, what are you doing with these films? You keep promoting Red Scar since 2020, but we have not seen anything. Here's the reason why. College and all that, but funding and getting the right script, I was stressing a lot. I was going through a lot when I was making the script, but script is done. I'm about to do some pre-production, hire some people, scout, look where I'm about to go. Already done a lot of pre-production. I already know what I want to do, but since I do marketing in real life, digital media marketing, I've done it for Marvel, I've done it, I do it for the NBA. If you guys watch my Instagram stories, Snapchat, you will see me with players and, all of this type of stuff. This is what I do. And if you see me in gas station, doing other stuff and all of this stuff, that's what my job is currently. But my real one is like the film stuff. I want to go 100% in this and drop everything else. But learning that, knowing the marketing, knowing the media, knowing the ROI, the box office. I don't care about box office numbers because in the studios with Marvel and stuff, what we do, we don't care about box office numbers. But this is the thing. This is the thing right here. And in this garage too. I like this set. I might change the background, whatever, but I like this. It's comfortable. But with that being said, let's get into Red Scar, right? Back then, I made a video in 2021 speaking on this universe I'm making, the D. Hayes Productions Cinematic Universe. Here's a short little clip on me describing what it is. Hayes Productions Universe, actually DPU, DPCU, D. Hayes Productions Cinematic Universe. Just because of you guys, I just created a whole new medium, a whole new world, alright? It's taking mine. So, first to start off, I have my Riley films that I started off with, that I started working on when I was 15, 16 in high school and stuff like that. That's not going to be part of the day verse. That's just showing you guys where I came from. What happened. It's just showing you guys where I started when it came to filmmaking. My first video, my first film is going to be Battle of the MCs. Battle of the MCs is about a man named Mike, a rich boy named Mike. His father is the mayor of a city and stuff like that. His production verse. So all the films tied together. Everything isn't just superhero, there's romance and more. We are starting off with a short film dropping 2026. Here's my current slate. The first one, Before Red Scar, short film. You guys will see a little trailer for it, drop soon. It's called The Talk. Before Red Scar, The Talk. This short film is following Michael's first day as a therapist, speaking to a troubled individual by the name of Will. Despite the name, this takes place during the events of Red Scar, and Michael is the most important character in the universe. Now, note this. This Michael and the one from Battle of MCs are two different Michaels, two different characters. So, next one. Battle of the MCs. 2027. Battle of the MCs is about rappers trying to make it out of their situation. This story takes place in Fort Wayne, Indiana. A perspective told from a rich kid making it out to a poor kid making it out. Michael comes from a rich family, with his father being the city mayor. Zigzag, also known as Devin Smith, is a young adult from the trenches trying to provide for his fiance and their son. A very unique story that ties into everything in the DPCU, but you don't have to watch this film in order to watch the other ones. But this is just a little project that I've been working on, and it does tie in. This takes place before the events of Red Scar. All right, now Red Scar. Here's a picture of it here. Let's see here. Here's a picture of Red Scar right here. Or I can put it right here. It doesn't matter. I like it right here. So, with the Red Scar, we are in Naples City, Indiana, which is a fictional place. We're following Miles Martinez and his journey throughout Naples City. Crime is rapid, people are going crazy, corrupt police, a broken system, billionaire crime lords, and the demon of chaos spreading fear throughout the city, affecting normal day citizens, police, FBI, and criminals. Who is he? We will find out in 2027. Now with Red Scar, as you guys seen, I made a whole post on Facebook and on X, and I also made one on freaking LinkedIn. Got a lot of stuff. LinkedIn become a new social media platform, but that's what I need. I'm gonna tag the post right here, right in the comments, so you guys can see and click on it yourself, so you can see what I need and what's going on in this film. What's coming after that is called Julia Stone. This film takes place during the events of Red Scar. Julia, also known as Verity Vale, was traveling with her friends when she fell into a tunnel full of stones and minerals. She went into a coma, allowing the intoxicated air to enter her lungs, and the minerals ended up piercing her skin, going into her body. Her mother was also a baby during a scientific experiment gone wrong, which is talked about in Red Scar, in which her mother gained abilities, which passed on to her daughter Julia. But now, since Julia landed in the tunnel, which is actually a dark realm, she learns to navigate through her life with these advanced powers. She is also called the Child of Prophecy. Her ancestors practiced witchcraft, including her mother and her actual mother. The next one is called Gen Velocity. I'm looking to film this right after Red Scar. Julia Stone is like, it doesn't matter where I place that, it's still it still takes place during the events of the film. But this film takes place during the events of Red Scar and Julia Stone. This happens in Smokeville City, which is a tech city. We follow Jack Reed, who's also known as Blitz. Jack is a popular high school track star athlete. He's pretty much a jock, and he's a comedian. He's the fastest student in the United States and the youngest to compete in the Olympics, winning a gold medal for Team USA track and field, beating the legendary Halle, who was known as the world's fastest man, running at 30 miles per hour. But Jack beat Halle's record by running 48 miles per hour. He hangs out with friends at a high school party, get drunk, flirt with women, fights break out. You dig the whole entire thing. Fights break out between his friend and another party goer, which eventually led to a brawl. And Jack, being a cool kid, trying to, break things up. He don't want to see the homies fight. With strangers, they just there to party, get some women. You see what I'm saying? And, he tried to break it up, which led to him getting shot in the legs, forcing him to be in crutches. Jack eventually ends up in the lab after school, and the lab catches on fire, trapping Jack. One of the chemicals pour down Jack's throat, and the rest fall on Jack as well as he's on the ground. Jack then becomes a speedster. Now, I'm into comics. I'm a big nerd, like all that type of stuff, and I've been wanting to do this for a while. Make my own films and stuff like that. Different, I'm going to talk about later, but I'm making a whole separate video on that. What's your thoughts on Red Scar? If you want to help, donate, and join the process, hit me up and I'll get right with you. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back. And here's the biggest video of the day. This is going to get the views. The last straw. Eminem's final era. Eminem is the greatest rapper of all time, which we all know is a fact. But a lot of his core stands are wondering what is going on in the rapper's camp and where's the music. Well, let me give you guys some backstory and what's going on now. Right here is an example what's going on with Eminem. Here's a tracker of his unreleased music. Many Reddit M stands reposted this and add to this in order to spite Marshall and trick the fans. Interscope employees were made aware of the leaks at the same time everyone else was. Eminem and his camp noticed all of the songs were unreleased material, but the songs that leaked are all stored on a set of hard drives, which kept in a safe at Eminem's music studio in Ferndale, Michigan. These hard drives weren't connected to the internet in any way and were password protected. This means whoever leaked the songs had physical access to those hard drives and had to have the password as well. Eminem, Paul Rosenberg, and his lawyers then contacted the FBI to start investigations. On January 16, 2025, FBI agents conducted interviews with multiple employees about the leaks and then noticed that 4 people will only have access to any of the hard drives. Truth is, I was upset and blamed Eminem for leaking his own songs. Eminem is anti-leak, and I believe 100% he's against all leaks, right? Now, when that LL Cool J stuff leaked, I was mad about it, and I created a whole series on me just against leakers, and they should be prosecuted. But this is similar to the Drake and Kanye leak situations. Eminem purposely leaked these. This is my theory, due to the fact that when I listened to the whole entire, like all the songs in order, it seemed like the death of Slim Shady expanded edition. All the songs lined up. How come these particular songs are leaked and not everything else? He has a 2018 Marshall Powers song, and it's a fire song, and it's coming off of Kamikaze. Those songs are in a particular file. There's no way only Marshall Powers and that little freestyle he had, there's no way those 2 songs are the only ones leaked out of the 5 to 6 other songs he had in those Kamikaze files. There's no way those are the only ones leaked. Also, the leaker, the hacker, wouldn't just handpick Marshall Powers. He would have picked the other ones. He would have picked some tracks on Revival. He also would have picked tracks for Music to Be Murdered by Side A and all the music recorded in 2019. I guess we're going to forget about that. Eminem was in the lab in 2019. We're going to forget about all the tracks he recorded during that time. That's why I'm saying that Music to Be Murdered by Side A leaks. It's going to reach up to Side A. They're all in similar files as the Kamikaze stuff. There's no way those tracks don't get leaked alongside of this. I thought it was a TDOS Deluxe, and the Straight from the Lab 3 was conducted too well for my liking. It actually felt like an album because there's some songs on there that was right there. Then the intro, I was like, what is this? This is an actual album instead of a leak. When I'm looking at leaks, I don't expect it to sound like a perfectly crafted album. But 4 people were Anthony, John Fisher, and Mike Strange. Mike, John, and Anthony still works with Eminem, and Joe was fired back in 2021. Paul Rosenberg also leaned towards this during the Curtain Call 2 interview with Skylar Grey when they were speaking about The Last One Standing back in 2022. So make sure you guys go back and check that out. During the time, Eminem's close friend, Frederick, posted this on X saying him and Eminem will be looking for them and they will stand on business. Now, someone contacted Frederick and told him that he had conversations with an ex-user by the name of Doja Rat. The screenshots he showed Frederick of the conversation with Doja Rat, that Doja purchased songs from Joe Strange and paid Strange $50,000 for the music. Joe also claimed to have 1,500 plus songs and more from Eminem. Strange also sent a picture to Doja showing a folder full of Eminem content Strange still had access to. And I believe he's also behind the leaks. In the photograph, those songs originated from the hard drives. Interscope employees then went to work and noticed everything leaked was removed from the drive in October of 2019 and January of 2020. This was the time where Strange still worked at the studio. The FBI turned their attention to Doja Rat and made Doja Rat cooperate. Doja Rat confirmed that he was involved with buying the leaked songs, and he first met Joe through a YouTube channel called Dope Edit. Dope Edit was already famous in the Eminem community, who was the only one uploading original Eminem instrumentals, not remakes to the point they sounded perfect. Dope Edit then told Doja that he was in possession of unreleased Eminem music. He would be willing to sell it too. In August 2024, Doja then bought 4 songs for the total of $8,500. Eminem stans came up with a group buy and to raise money in order to leak their favorite rapper's music. Eminem then saw this and was extremely heartbroken to the point he felt betrayed. He was very shocked that his fans would do this to him, create a group buy in order to leak his unreleased music because they got tired of waiting. Doja the Rat needed more people to buy and reached out to Cali Kush. Cali Kush then joined Doja the Rat to run the group buy with core Eminem stans. They ended up making the purchase. The FBI then put up on Cali Kush since Cali Kush was involved in a separate group buy before tricking the M stans. Cali and another person by the name of ATL purchased 3 Eminem songs in July of 2024. That music was also sold by Dope Edit by Joe Strange. Joe was asking for payments of $1,000 on Venmo. The FBI then tracked the payments back to an account owned by Joe Strange. Over the course of 6 months, Doja, Cali, and the gang ended up purchasing 25 songs, which totaled up to $50,000 in Bitcoin. The FBI then had more than enough information, so January 28th, 2025, the FBI put up on Strange crib, finding music from Eminem and other artists. They also found original lyric sheets and VHS tapes of original Slim Shady music. Joe was then charged with criminal infringement of copyright and interstate transportation of stolen goods. Joe is currently facing 15 years in prison, including a $250,000 fine. In 2025, Joe was able to bond out $10,000. The real reason why Eminem stans wanted to release the songs to the public is that they felt entitled to his music and was also tired of waiting on Eminem's music. They were also mad about Eminem not releasing Bad Meets Evil 2 and The Death of Slim Shady Deluxe back in 2024 within 2 months of the original Death of Slim Shady Coup de Grace album dropping. Eminem stans also praised the release of the music. Some notable stans like Sean, Stan 101, and Reddit stans claimed that Eminem deserved this. Joseph Strange, the person that was fired in a rant, he says AI has nothing to do with it. All of the activity like video games, songs, special editions, greatest hits, etc. are not a build-up. It's a way to make money that doesn't involve M making records or touring. They are all external revenue sources, never as likely. You might get one more from him, a secret grandpa album somewhere down the road, or it may just be a lot of unreleased material, which you guys can't tell the difference if it was made last week or 15 years ago, unless they tell you. M is done making records as far as everyone is concerned. That's why everything is happening the way it is right now. But he can't stop writing and recording. It's all he knows how to do, so anything is possible. My problem with this is Joseph just sounds bitter that he was fired, and I'm going to get more into it that I know from what I know behind the scenes. Shady, and also before I get into his other quotable, there's a reason why he's this bitter. There's a reason why he's this mad, and I'll expose it. He also says Shady is not good at releasing records or signing talent, and much else Besides milking the fans on Paul's side, releasing records is hard for them. And it's hard on Universal/Interscope because they suck so bad at it. And coming from Universal, somebody that worked with UMG, no, it's not. It's not hard when, man. That is mostly because M would never be done with anything. It's hard for him to let anything go. No song is ever finished. Every song he's released, management has had to pry him off of. And it's hard on everyone involved in the process. He never just shows up with an album and says, hey, put this out. It's Paul that shows up, coordinates, and studies everything. Gets his features on the records he wants, and then puts pressure on him to release it once he thinks it's good enough. Paul has coordinated some of the worst Eminem songs in history. This is Joseph Strange. You all want to know if another album is on the horizon? Watch Paul, because if there is revenue coming in, there is no reason for another album. They don't care about the fans, they only care about making money. Eminem is a business. I know that sucks to hear for the fans, but it's true. There's a Paul meme account on here that posts every once in a while and says mean stuff. If that's not actually him, it's someone that knows him really well and models the meme perfectly. Now, Joseph, sorry I messed up a little bit because I've been recording all day, but hear me out. Joseph is bitter. He was crying because he was fired. Now let me get into why he was fired. This coming from people I spoke to and people like Paul Rosenberg and Eminem. It's coming from them too. Everybody that's worked with this guy. Joseph Strange and Eminem were at odds. And he was also responsible for a lot of intentional badly mixed records. Now, you heard Joseph in the quote saying, oh yeah, M refused to release records and this and that and whoop-de-whoop. That does not sound like Eminem at all. That doesn't. Now, for me, I know Eminem's blue. I know this Joe Strange guy is blue. All I've been hearing for the past 4 years was blue, blue, blue. I'm like, who's this blue guy? Everybody's telling me a bad blue engineer. I don't know what blue means. But I guess that's another nickname for him. There was a name that kept popping up every time I asked M's team or anyone at Interscope about music updates or audio being uploaded and submitted through Treasury via trademark and copyright. Now, if you hear the mixing on No Regrets, Untouchable, Normal, All I Think About, Believe, Last One, Lord Above, Moon Man and Slim, Marshall Powers, Ritz, Friday Night Cypher, I did say No Regrets. Alfred's theme had okay mixing. The Favorite B-Word song. Also Untitled on Recovery. This is, you know, Joe was responsible for the mixing of Eminem's vocals on those records. This is why in Music to Be Murdered by Side B, the mixing is beyond art. You can't blame COVID, but this was the case. And another thing I want to point out, Eminem finally got his mixing back on a Snoop Dogg record a little bit, but he was still using Joe Strange's presets for some reason because they didn't have any other. Mike still had his, but Eminem wanted to hold that off for his future album and wanted perfect mixing for that. He wanted he wanted the MM LP and his Eminem Show presets back because the mixing on those albums are perfect. And then also the presets from Music to Be Murdered by Side A. Let me tell you Stans this that's listening. Here's a list of the songs that, like, when it comes to new Eminem music, here's what his songs are gonna sound like. So listen to songs like The Monster. Like, I'm just talking about the mixing and his vocal range and the way his vocals are laid down. Listen to The Monster, Guts Over Fear, Somebody Saves Me, Good Guy, Leaving Heaven, Darkness, Higher, Fuel, Walkthrough featuring Grip, a Head Honcho, and also, man, I lost where is that? You Gon' Learn. That's what his current voice sounds like, and that is what his mixing will be like from here on out. Now, if you listen to Last One Standing and a lot of his features during his hiatus, you heard that little sound, or he just want to come in like Machine Gun. Like he's doing weird stuff because he's trying to get He's trying to find his stuff back. And also during that hiatus, he had COVID, he had the colds, and he was sick on some records. That's why you hear that little raspy and spitty stuff on The Realist and on Doomsday Part 2. Also on the fast part on when he does his verse on Murdergram Deluxe. And then he did his he went back and recorded another time when he was healthy enough. I don't like BDK, like on that last part after LL Cool J does a little interlude. But that's why the mixing sounds different, his vocal inflection and his attack on the beat. So if Eminem were to record that Murdergram song today or The Realist, it's gonna sound totally different. You won't hear the little spitting and this low mixing and that stuff. That's still that Joe Strange template, that preset that he was using. And Eminem, like with Joe, he was a little bit lazy with that, and Paul, and they just released that stuff. But you know, Joe, give Joe credit, he was with Eminem since 2007. So a lot of the like 3 a.m. and some of the songs like that, he did mix. But yeah, Joe was doing lazy work Joe was doing lazy work in which he knew Eminem had deadlines to meet via label, or else he'd get sued to Kingdom Come and end up in a Drake-like situation for putting out forced work, to the point Eminem also misses a $400 million stimulus. Here's the thing. Nobody on the internet, not academics, no M-stands, not Paul, nobody mentioned Eminem stimulus. I'm the only one that's mentioned it. It's real. Talking to somebody that worked with UMG for like half a year. Eminem did get a stimulus too. The same little package Drake did. Lil Wayne did too. A lot of artists, Kendrick had one too. And Kanye. That's why Kanye was crying and crashing out in 2022. Because he couldn't meet no deadline. He only had Donda, but then kept pushing back albums and complaining about money. And he was losing money. It's not because of what he said. He was losing money and not reaching deadlines and not keeping up to what he was contracted to do. Drake released Honestly Nevermind and told UMG, hey, I turned in something. Stuff I had scrapped and stuff I didn't want to release, so I just gave him a trashly produced and a bad album. I just did whatever I want on that. UMG was like, no. That's like you going to a 5-star restaurant and they hand you, like you go to a steak restaurant and they hand you a Big Mac. Where's my steak at? I gave you meat. I gave you some beef. I gave you beef. Pause, but I gave you some beef, some ground beef. I gave you something. There's meat, there's everything that you want. There's fries on the side, a small fry. I gave you it. You don't like what you have? No, I asked for a medium rare, a potato, some broccoli, and some wine. You gave me a Happy Meal, but put a Big Mac in it. That's how UMG is feeling. Drake dropped those 3 albums and he was like, see, UMG, of quality, right? But let's get back to Eminem. When he dropped Music to Be Murdered by Side B, it was mostly for the stands. He wanted another album out. And it was part of Music to Be Murdered by Side A. But he didn't want the album to be 3 hours long, so he released the other half. But the songs that were already planned wasn't put on that album. The stuff Joe didn't have, I know for a fact Joe didn't have access to those. I know for a fact Joe did not have access to those songs. That's why those songs didn't leak. And a lot of the revival songs and one of the songs M had with Andre 3000, Joe didn't release that because he has no access to that. He has no access to the other Royce songs M have, or the one with T.I. and 50. Joe doesn't have access to that. He has access to the songs he mixed. If Joe released every single song he mixed, it's all the songs I sat down and a little bit more, plus the songs he already released. He already leaked. That's the stuff that Joe mixed. That's what Joseph Strange mixed. That's the songs he mixed. The other songs Joe never had access to. He didn't even hear those songs. That's why he's saying from that perspective, because he didn't hear those songs. And with that being said, Eminem was promised a $400 million stimulus. And nobody's gonna tell you this because guess what? Nobody cares. The only person that brought this $400 stimulus up was Drake. Eminem did release that Music to Be Murdered by Side B. He got his stimulus. He know for a fact he got that money. And then he dropped TDOS that UMG had, like, they had an idea he was making that, but he didn't have to drop that album. He just did it for the love of the fans. He got paid, but he didn't get no stimulus for it. He didn't get no bonus for that. He got some awards or whatever from the awards he won, but he gave that back to charity and helped his kids out and all of that. So Eminem didn't really make, he made money, he made millions, but didn't make what he usually make because he didn't care. He released the music for the fans. That's why he dropped it. He was so hyped about the documentary more. He made more from the documentary than he made from the death of Slim Shady. I know he pocketed that Netflix money. He for sure pocketed that Netflix money. But he sure pocketed that documentary money and gave some back. But he had to get his bread up. And here's something that nobody's telling y'all. Eminem is a billionaire, right? He's a billionaire. We know that. If the highest selling rapper of all time, if you just do the math, is Eminem. The second is Drake, and then Kanye. But Eminem is all the way is 10. Drake sales is a 7. Then Kanye is a 6. But 10 is very high. 8.3 and 10 is still a large gap. It's like comparing Wemby to Chet Holmgren, right? So, that's what's going on. Eminem is a billionaire off of that, and plus, you know, his other side hustles, the other stuff he has going on. But I don't want to seem like I'm pocket watch because Denon and his camp, they be on people for that. But M a street dude, so he be on me for that. I don't care if he comes out deny out of embarrassment, but I'm not lying about no $400 million stimulus. A lot of people, Lil Wayne released those albums with Rich the Kid just to show UMG, oh, I have some of quality. And let me get into this. Since we're on this too, I know the video's called End of an Era with Eminem, but I have to get into this, right? Of quality, Drake. I know you listen. That Janice song, quality. Everything on Iceman was of quality. Half of the songs on Habidi or whatever that albums weren't of quality. Weren't up to UMG standards or the DSPs. Now, people like act, if he views this, he's like, man, you don't know what he's talking about. No, I do know what I'm talking about because, listen, I'm going to make a separate video soon showing what was of quality from our end, from UMG's end, what we saw, what we deem of quality. And then people can be like, what about Kendrick Lamar? GNX? Yeah, they was noted, but he wasn't trying to get the stimulus. He got that stimulus for freaking Mr. Morale, and Kendrick Lamar got $300 million. See, the only person that brought up the stimulus and couldn't shut their mouths was Drake. He's the only one that brought up the stimulus. He's so selfish. He could have ruined the bags for many other artists. Youngboy wasn't just mad at Drake because of that. Rick Ross is mad at Drake because of that. Rick Ross had an album planned throughout that stimulus time UMG was given, and people had to reach deadlines and marks within their management and then within the studios. Within the labels they're signed to. They was trying to reach these deadlines. Rich Montana wanted to release this certain album. He couldn't because of Drake. He had a Drake feature. Drake didn't show up. He had an incentive. He had this stuff that was planned with UMG so he could get paid. French has no beef with him. He understands the business. I would be mad, but I'd be temporarily mad, not to the point that, man, Drake, you're not my friend. You're not my, homie or nothing. I'd be upset at UMG. I'd be upset at the deal that Drake signed. I wouldn't be upset at Drake himself, but I'd be upset that he's exposing it. I'd be upset that he's in a lawsuit with Kendrick because that messes up my money too. That messes up Ross's money. That's why Ross is out here bitter, acting like Rich. No, Ryan. Ross manager, you and T, like you're T.I.'s manager too. You have to be consistent in defending it. Like you guys have to be consistent with them. Ross can't be out here. I know you told T.I., oh yeah, you stopping this, but Ross is still out here talking. He's doing whatever he wants, but T.I. can't. T.I. makes more than Ross. But T.I. can't do whatever he wants, but Ross can. We put the hold behind the scenes. We all put a hold on the 50 discs. 50 Cent put a hold on the T.I. discs. But that's for another video. But back to the incentive and the Eminem thing. Eminem got a $400 million stimulus, which not stimulus. I keep saying stimulus. But it's a bonus that everybody was getting, like the big time artists, the Doja Cats and all that. If you go from December 2020, all the way to 2023, You notice how Kendrick Lamar randomly dropped the album. Mr. Morale was planned for wasn't planned for 2023 though. It was planned for another year, like 2024. But then you had the Drake disses and all that coming back and forth. J. Cole, hurry up and drop that off season. He was trying to reach that goal. He's trying to get an extra $60 million. If you're in the thing trying to get a promotion or a raise, you're in this music industry to get money, to make money. You're not just in here to rap. I hate when artists say, I'm just here to rap. And this to you, Eminem. I know you say, man, I can lose money, but I still love hip hop. I know that. But you came in this game to get your daughters out the hood, be this rich and successful, put your daughters through these private schools, that she's able to meet Evan, make a family, you threw a good wedding, that she was able to get into these doors because you put your foot on the pedal and you kept going 100 miles per hour. You kept pushing to be the biggest rapper. You don't go into rap to fail. You don't go into rap not to sell. I hate when people say don't bring up numbers. No, you have to bring up numbers because that's how you determine a company's or a person's, not its worth, its productivity. When people say don't go by sales, go by the raps and bars, okay, I add bars and all that into context, but you have to go by the numbers and sales. The numbers and sales tell you everything about that artist. If somebody like KRS-One is dropping 1 million hours a year, oh yeah, by the way, he dropped the album in 2021 to get that incentive too. It was a good $100,000 extra bonus plus another $1 million for UMG, and then another one because he owns a lot of people records that they're like a lot of samples and stuff. Same for Juicy J. That's why Juicy J dropped 1 million albums that time. But what I'm saying is, if you're not selling, if you're not reaching the charts, then what are you in hip hop for? You can't, it's not just the love of the sport. I love rapping. Okay, that's fine. Even if that's fine, but retire. You're taking space from those that's trying to make it up. That's what you guys are doing. Since I'm not with UMG, I'm going to say this. You guys are taking space in hip hop. If you're not serious about rap, if you don't care about the numbers and sales, you keep saying this, then retire. Don't collect no more incentives. Don't collect no more bonuses. Make the salary, your contract says no bonuses. Don't ask UMG. Don't say the labels are this. Don't say nothing about UMG. Don't say nothing about the major labels. If you were in here to only rap for the love of it, if you're not here to chart, if you're not here to sell, retire and leave. And then y'all can be like, Juicy J, no, Juicy J charts. It's not just him rapping, it's him producing. It's him, people sampling him every single day. He drops those mixtapes for his fans for the love of the sport. And he charts every other year. So, he's not just in it for the love of the game, he's in there to make money. Eminem, tell the truth. You're in here to make money. Don't try to act all high and mighty like J. Cole, and that's why I don't like J. Cole. I don't respect him. But he says he's trying to act broke and all of this, but you're begging the label for extra money. You're begging for bonuses. You're begging for all of this. Yet, you come in here saying, oh, I would have rap out. That's why you named the album The Fall Off. I know you said in 2014, Fall Off, okay, there's a plan, but you knew you wanted to retire there. So why take up space? You charted, you did everything you needed to do, but every interview you've been in, you tried to go against the grain, and then you rented some trash 1990s car to drive around people in, to drive people around, forcing them to listen to your album. Just to seem like you're broke and you're still struggling. No, you're rich. Act like it. Dress like it. That's why Drake don't respect you. That's why academics don't. That's why freaking Kendrick stopped respecting you. Let me get this straight. I mean, not this straight. Let me put this out there. Eminem fans be like, all right, M has songs with J. Cole. M has songs with, not J. Cole. M has songs with Jid, Cordae, all of these people. But what about the song with J. Cole? Ask J. Cole that. Don't ask Eminem. Ask J. Cole that. I promise you. Eminem reached out to J. Cole for many songs. Since 2014, I bet you anything Eminem been reaching out. You know why J. Cole didn't? Because he doesn't want competition. The best he'll ever do a song with, that's why he has Kendrick on hooks and crap. Kendrick sent the hook over to Jeezy. Kendrick has a whole verse, but J. Cole wanted to shine. He took up too much space on the song. Jeezy wanted the song to be 4 minutes. J. Cole took up 2, talking about random stuff. And Kendrick was left with the hook. J. Cole had T.I. on the song, but he had the baby, but he also wanted Kendrick on it. Kendrick was like, I'll give you sample or something like that. You'll just get this. If you're rapping 2 minutes of the song and I can't get anything and you want the song to be 3 to 4 minutes, but that song was 2, where am I coming at? That's why Kendrick keeps drawing out. That's why y'all never get a J. Cole and Kendrick album, because of J. Cole. Drake said this, if y'all call me liar, Drake said the same thing. Why wasn't Jid on a fall off? Why wasn't top peak rappers on a fall off? He was copying Bone Thugs since that Mid Cloud song dropped. He copied Bone Thugs flow and didn't put a single bone on the album. I don't get it. But with Eminem, he wanted a $400 million stimulus. He wanted that upgrade. And M confronted Joe many times to the point M wanted to run the fade. This all happening in the studio. Eminem wanted to run the fade. And he was complaining, saying, yeah, you're not doing anything. You're playing with my money. You're playing with my time. I have deadlines to meet. Then M wanted to please UMG Interscope and drop, but the mixing work up to the standard the label would want. But that was Joe's fault. That wasn't M. M put that in it. But guess what? You're still dropping it. But they gave you a pass and you still got their money. You still reached the goal because you had more quality. Eminem was nervous because he thought, oh shoot, these are mixed right, all that. He was freaking out. He was doing an NF thing. Just for NF to submit that mixtape. So, hey guys, look, I'm not labeled, but you still have to get the UMG NF. But besides that, he said, Eminem was like, yo, like he was probably nervous, saying, yo, I'm nervous. I did not reach the incentive. I did not reach it, but the album's still out. I'm glad it's out, but it's the pandemic and we're in quarantine. I'm gonna need some extra funds. There's some shoots I want. There's some expensive shoots I want. This was a documentary I want. This is 8 Mile series that gotta get shot. Like, there's a lot of money I'm putting out there. I don't want to have $50 million to my name. I want to get that $400 million. That's gonna put me as a billionaire. Guess what happened? He had more quality than not quality. He only had 3 that weren't satisfactory to the label. 3 songs on there. Everything else was. If you have a 20-track album, you have to have at least 10 of quality songs. 10, at least 50% to get your senator. But Eminem, he had them. He only had 3 that weren't properly mixed because of one engineer. Now, end of the era. Let's get to the point. I know I went on a rant, but here's my source. Very High, the lawsuit from the end of last year confirmed that M was working on and coming close to finishing multiple projects. Also, the producer who did Bad Guy off Marshall Mathers LP2, which released in 2013, recently said that he worked on / is working on a new song for Eminem's new album. And probably wasn't supposed to reveal that, but M doesn't care now. The source is here, it's gonna be listed. Here's the case. Eminem's longtime manager, Paul Rosenberg, filed a declaration as part of the motion. He said Eminem is presently working on new music for various projects in 2026, which requires his daily attendance with the people identified below. It is not only difficult and very expensive for him to be out of his studio at such times, but it will also put him behind schedule for the various contracts which have been promised by dates certain. So this was during a court case when he's filing for he had special demands, and Giselle Bryant and Robin Dixon, when they had that little shady podcasting, they wanted Eminem to appear in court, and they weren't understanding why M wasn't up there. So Eminem and his lawyer went to court under oath, did not lie. Here's the thing stands. Eminem, like, y'all never been to court, y'all freaking stupid. If y'all never been to court, y'all understand lying in court is capital punishment. He's saying this on under oath, on record, and the lawyers, and to the labels. Eminem is working on various projects. He cannot attend because he's working on a project. Features. He has deadlines to meet. Here's the label slip. Here's the documents. Here's the audio stuff. They're sending this in to the courts. Next, Paul also says the reality of Eminem's schedule is that he needs to be at his studio every morning to meet with the people who rely on his presence when creating music. When creating new music. Failure of Eminem to appear in the morning at his studio can result in canceled appointments, an entirely wasted day for his staff, and a very expensive loss of time and expense to Eminem and other parties. So, here's Sean. I'm calling you out, Sean. And some other stands. Not the Sean and Shady guy. We don't really talk, but there's a certain Sean you all know. No face, he's always spamming and Crooked's comments and all this stuff. Did you hear what I just said? If Eminem doesn't show up, nobody gets paid. This is a business. This is not just some freaking, I'm a SoundCloud rapper, I'm recording. No, like I said earlier, Eminem is a business. He's not just some random person on X that you're talking to. They can upload music on there. No. Paul Rosenberg said this in court. I can't be lying about Eminem releasing an album. I'm not lying about Eminem releasing new music. I'm not lying. If I'm lying, Paul's lying. If Paul's lying, Eminem's in another lawsuit for lying to the courts. Like, you cannot lie under oath. If you guys ever, been in court or watched a show based on court or whatever, you cannot lie in those situations. Let me repeat myself. Paul Rosenberg specifically said the reality of Eminem's schedule is that he needs to be at his studio every morning to meet with the people who rely on his presence when creating new music. Failure of Eminem to appear in the morning at his studio can result in canceled appointments, an entirely wasted day for his staff, and a very expensive loss of time and expense to Eminem and other parties. So you guys mean to tell me Eminem's retired? I'm lying. My sources are off. But this is Paul Rosenberg saying. This is Eminem saying this. If Eminem don't show up, nobody gets paid. It's like you going to work and you're locked out your job because your boss doesn't want to show up. You don't get paid for the day either. You be pissed. So when you guys come in my DMs, be like sources and this and that, I'm not a leaker. I'm not none of these trolls. You're talking to somebody that's been in the industry. You're talking about somebody that's talked to these people. You've never talked to nobody part of a label. None of you guys have. So don't ever come to me about, I need sources. You don't need sources. You don't deserve them. You guys praised that Joe guy and that freaking Doja the Rat leaking music. You have no right to talk to me about sources. You have no right to get an update because your Eminem album dropped last year. That's you guys' album that dropped. You guys were selfish. You guys were impatient, even though Eminem gave you an album last year. He hopped on many features and did music videos and also did a meet and greet and live performances in 2024. Not last year, in 2024. He put you guys in music videos. He dropped the album that he wasn't even planning for a while. He dropped that album, just get rid of his shady persona so he can end the beefs and stuff. But he dropped that album just for you guys, since you guys were crying 24/7, spamming his daughter's podcast, saying that he needs to drop an album and he needs to pop on her podcast. You guys were spamming that. You guys were harassing Paul. You guys sat there and harassed everybody, including Crooked Eye. That has nothing to do with Eminem anymore. Harassing everybody about Eminem's album. To the point y'all harassed him at the Dre Day. I was there at the Dre Day. I was there. I was working for Access Hollywood at the time. You guys harassed. You guys bullied Eminem during that whole hiatus. He was sick half of the time. Dealing with, I think he had something going on with his, like, breathing or whatever. He was dealing with something like that. He had COVID. He had other sickness, and he still went to the studio and dropped records. That's why those records was trash, and he still was using those Joe Strange freaking default presets. But that's all he had. He didn't have time to mix. He was too sick. He was shirtless with drawers on, almost half naked in the studio, making songs for you guys. For you. Just for y'all to complain when TDOS drop. Just for you guys to complain when he shows up to these like Middle Eastern countries, and he did a sold out show in Austin, Texas, and he barely comes to America to perform. He sat there and performed. He did a surprise performance in Detroit for you guys. He did multiple live performances. He went back to MTV for you guys. He created Houdini, which is for the stands. Spent $500,000 on that music video and months of preparation and pre-production for that music video, and a whole month and a half for post-production on that music video. Very expensive. Just for you guys to complain. And then spit in his face when he spit a 1-minute verse on Doomsday. You know who that verse was for? You guys. He made that verse just to diss Benzino, because Benzino been talking smack. And he made that verse for you guys. He spit that while he was sick. What did he say in the beginning? That's what he said. He spit a freestyle for you guys. Dropped the whole music video with Cole Bennett for you guys, just so you guys to harass Cole Bennett, call me a liar when I say he was dropping March 15th, and then you all say, oh, Eminem's not dropping no album March 13th. That's not what I said, you idiots. I said the music video dropping Wednesday, March 15th, 2024. And guess what? It did. It did. And I received no apologies for that. I said White Gold is on that album twice. White Gold came to my comments like he did his PR. He had to save face. He had to save himself. That information, he wasn't expecting it to be out. He asked me for my sources, and I DM'd him. I'm like, hey. He's like, oh, we cool now. You guys said I was a liar. It dropped. And he was on 2 songs. And he wrote the hook for another song on that album. And there's another song on there that White Gold has that didn't even make the album. But hey, I'm crashing. They could be like, he's crashing out, because I hate idiots. I hate people that don't think at all. You guys been dealing with these false leakers, these fake insiders for so long, and y'all got the real deal, and they all just sit there and be like, oh, he's lying, when everything I said been right. Everything I said about Eminem been right. If I say he's dropping soon, that's all you gonna get. If I say soon and he drops in 2028, then deal with it. You shut your mouth, because you guys had a 20 album. You guys had a 20-track album last year, and he still forgave you guys, gave you a documentary, and you still complain. That's why I said, that's why this is the end of the era, because this is something I know. I'm going to say this before Eminem does. I'm going to let this out. Let's continue. Paul Rosenberg also says, Paul Rosenberg also says, mind you, and I'm not cutting, I'm not editing this. Forget that. Paul Rosenberg, in court, also says, under oath, Marshall's typical day, including as scheduled to occur on October 29th, 2025, includes working at his studio to create and record music, including with other recording artists with whom he collaborates, as well as multiple studio engineers. Now, I'm going to tell you guys this before somebody skips this, because I know y'all going to skip my crash out. Before you guys skip this and go to the last part, clip that out of context and say, man, he lying. I'm going to repeat what Paul says. Paul Rosenberg said this. When I say these names, y'all say, man, there's no chance. How you know that? The source. Paul Rosenberg said this under oath. Eminem's going to say this. And I'm saying this because it's true. Now, let's do this. Like, hold this. Reminder, we're going to come back to this. At the end of the video, just remember I said this. Marshall's typical day, including as scheduled to occur on October 29th, 2025, includes working at his studio to create and record music, including with other recording artists with whom he collaborates. I'm going to name some of the artists. If you say I'm lying, then don't become Eminem stans. Don't be Eminem fans anymore and listen to these freaking leakers. Listen to some idiots on Discord that don't know nothing, that went up to UMG and asked for me and then acted like, and they was like, well, who? Why would you do that? And one of them actually went up there when I was there. And y'all don't even know my name. You're like, this is crazy. You don't go up to somebody's job asking. No, you don't go up to UMG and ask that. You don't go and search. Either you believe it or you don't, and you move on. So I'm going to name the artists he collaborated with, as well as multiple studio engineers / producers, and he must work with their schedules as well. Now, when I name the people he's collaborating with, I already know I'm going to receive, man, how do you know he's doing that? How do you know? You idiots in the comments. I'm telling you this now. Shut up before you comment. If you say I'm lying, so be it. I don't care if Paul Rosenberg comments below and tries and does the PR thing. He's doing PR. But what I'm saying is truth. And if Paul Rosenberg says it's false, he's lying to the courts because I'm reading his words. As well as multiple studio engineers, and he must work with their schedules as well. As the music currently in production approaches completion, it is imperative that Eminem be at the studio during the next month. He has appointments scheduled throughout November and December, which makes it both very difficult and expensive for him to attend a deposition in the month of November 2025. Now, let me tell you this. Right? Let me give some context to this, because I'm going to try to not crash out or spoil anything. He said he has appointments. So this is what you guys don't know. I don't want to hear no local rapper that never made it. Man, I never done that. No, because you're an idiot and you'll never make it in life. Stay local. If you don't want to sign to a label, stay local or quit rap and work at McDonald's. Or work for me. I'm hiring. Work for me. I'm hiring. If you, right? If you're an artist like Eminem, Drake, Ye, Lil Wayne, Jay-Z, you're a big time superstar. You have appointments. You have things. If you ever own a company, if you ever own a business, you guys talking to a business owner, multi-million, like you're talking to one. I know exactly, at least some of what Eminem's going through. So many people on a payroll. If he pushes back an album, nobody gets paid. He's not Kanye, where he can do whatever he wants. He's not Playboy Cardi, who's trash, who does whatever he wants, and then release when he wants a incentive. This one I'm gonna start doing. And you rappers are gonna get pissed, because only in the rap industry you guys do this for some reason. Trying to quick and meet deadlines. The next time I see an artist say they're dropping an album and then they don't drop it that day, I'm posting UMG thing. I'm posting their contract, what they were trying to aim for. And the fans will know exactly what they're doing. I'm tired of artists blaming the labels when they drop, when they ask for benefits. I'm tired. There's no streamer. There's nobody, no blog channel, not academics. I don't care who he's talking to at UMG. There's nobody that actually worked there. There's nobody from UMG there's two. They're saying the same thing I'm saying. That's been with UMG or Interscope or ATL, because I don't care what artists have to say. Artists are pretty much like actors at the studio. Actors don't know nothing but the script. They don't know what the producer's doing. They have an idea of what the position is, but they don't know what the producer of that film is doing. They don't know what the boss is doing. A cashier at McDonald's don't know the manager's job. They can't work it. They don't know the regional manager's job. Actually, not the manager, the regional manager's job. They can't work it. That's not in their pay. So hear this. Next time I see an artist say, I'm releasing this day, fans get excited, and then they push the album back, I'm dropping the news. Because guess what? I'm tired of them coming out on their albums, man, F the label. No. It's only at the label when you're not begging. Don't drop an album and then go to the label and be like, oh, please. And then they don't. You say at the label. I don't want to hear no blogs talking to some rapper that only been in a label long enough. And he's only known as a rapper or artist. He knows a few execs and talking all that, but he doesn't know what's actually going behind the scenes because you're in front of the mic. You'll never know. Even if they own their own label, they're not the majors. Gucci Mane, Yo Gotti, none of them are major record labels. They have some. Yo Gotti I would trust a little bit, but they're not Lucien or anybody, UMG. They don't do the marketing. They don't have all of this, right? So they can't say nothing. What I'm saying is, I'm not an exec. I'm speaking from the marketing perspective and production. Don't say you're dropping an album and then it doesn't drop that day. Because I'm releasing the receipts of you begging the label. You're pushing the album back so you can show the label, oh, please, I want the incentive on that day. That's when I can get a boost. That's when I can get paid. I want a boost. I'm going to spit in the fan's face so I can get this paid. Good business move, but you manipulated it. If I hear the album and you're dissing the label, I'm dropping everything. Meek Mill, man, that's a whole another video. Let's get back to this. So the source number 2 is a Ukrainian news, right? One of the people that Eminem speaks to a lot, and they're close with Interscope, like Shady Records, all of that, and Paul Trust and the media. She ended up saying recently Eminem's been working on new material, something confirmed during the Eurovision Ukraine podcast by host Anna T. She said Vendito is currently working on Eminem's album, who is a producer. Now, I told you guys to hold on to something, right? I told you guys to hold on to what I said earlier. Go back in the video if you don't understand or if you take me out of context. I'm going to say this. From what I know, this is going to be the best Eminem album of all time and the most diverse Eminem album of all time. Now, before some people be like, oh yeah, the Woke, he's going to have a feature with Lil Nas X, he's going to have some gay stuff. No. He already did that crap on Road Rage. But I'm telling you, and you know what? I'm not going to say these people are confirmed, but I'm just going to list some names. You know? He's going to be collaborating with the likes of, Rakim, Royce the 5'9", Skylar Grey, Kendrick Lamar, Easy Mill, Westside Boogie. Y'all won't believe this. Young Boy. Ooh. Why somebody say no to Young Boy? But that collab has been in the works forever. Just to burst you guys' bubble. White Gold, and there's a song Young Boy was supposed to be on, right? That's Eminem already released it, but it sounds weird. But there's a song Eminem had Young Boy like in mind, but they didn't really make anything out of it. They didn't record nothing, but he had Young Boy in mind to be on that song. But Young Boy was in and out of prison, so it's impossible to collab with M doing that. Young M.A. even said this on the Shannon Sharp podcast. Jordan, a lot of people who work with M is saying the same thing I'm saying. There's certain deadlines and stuff. So when if you guys come in the comments and say, oh, he's cap or whatever, everybody is saying what I've been saying, but I'm giving more context. So here's some theories. He has, a song with 50 Cent, we know for a fact he has like 4 different songs. He got like 2 releasing this year. The T.I. song, I don't think that's dropping. I do not think that's dropping. I know he has songs with Lil Wayne. He's Iceware Vezo. Something might be in the works. Now here's to the unconfirmed stuff. The Ludacris, Tech Nine, Future, Morgan Wallen. I've been hearing Morgan Wallen and Eminem for a while. Morgan Wallen told me he wanted to collab with Eminem a lot. He's told me that. And I think Morgan and Eminem, if they were to collab, I'm making, like, I'll do the whole music video. I'll shoot it for free. I told Morgan that. You get Eminem on a record, contact me. I even sent an email to Paul and I'm like, hey, you and Morgan ever do a record, I will shoot it for free. And guess what? I don't like shooting music videos, but when it comes to me, when it comes to the camera stuff and all that, I'm the best. One of the best editors, won awards, journalism, won Emmys, and editing, top ranked, camera, cinematography. I won awards, third place, first place. Like, I've won that stuff. And the Houdini thing, already did a tutorial on how to do that, and it took me like 30 minutes to do whatever was on the Eminem thing on Houdini. It wasn't that hard, but the edit. But besides that, I can easily do that. I will shoot that. I'll get a whole team. I will shoot that for free. Wherever they want, when they want, whatever time. I specifically said I'll shoot it for free. You guys ever do it? If you don't go to me, that's fine. But I want my hand in that song. So if that's real, if that's happening, y'all know who to call. And I've worked with Morgan Wallen so many times. So yeah. Another theory. Let me hold up. Here's the news I said out that's gonna break the timeline. Eminem and Kendrick Lamar has a song. Now, before the K-Bots and the M-Stamps, oh no. Mind you, I told you guys to go back and hold on to what I said earlier. If you listen to what Paul said, if you're seeing the people Eminem's around, and here's something else. Eminem was confirmed to be in LA. He went to LA last week. He was in LA for a whole entire week. What was he in LA for? It wasn't just because of West Side Boogie's album. He has a house there. He'd be recording at a specific studio there. But who is he recording with? E40? No. Another song with Snoop Dogg? No. Something with Dre? Yeah. How come Kendrick Lamar was at that studio too? See, y'all gonna be like, how do you know that? Everybody in the public can see when a rapper going to a studio. They put it. They put it there. It's for public knowledge. Ask people in Kendrick's camp, which studio did he go to last week? Ask people in Kendrick's camp, what was Kendrick Lamar doing? Don't ask me. Ask Kendrick's camp. Ask Eminem's camp. What was Eminem doing at the same studio? Ask them, what are they both doing with Dr. Dre? Is it this Dr. Dre producing the track? Is it Kendrick having a song with Dr. Dre and Eminem producing it? No. Kendrick Lamar and Eminem 100% have a song. 100%. Here's how I know. Kendrick and Eminem had three different songs planned. But who are we dealing with? We're dealing with the likes of Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre is the one that he doesn't care about a budget. He's making millions in his sleep. He doesn't care about a budget. They make tons of songs and he doesn't release it. He just selfish like that. But with Kendrick Lamar and this Eminem song, I believe this is 100% releasing. Either this year, either M's on Kendrick's album or Kendrick's on M's album. But what Eminem stated specifically after Boogie's promo and Easy Mills, he's dropping immediately after that. Eminem's been wanting to drop since spring of 2026. He's been wanting to drop music. He's not just holding on to music. He's been wanting to drop, but he made a promise. He is dropping after his crew, after his signees. Because when M drops, it's going to be a moment. And this next drop, I'm thinking, is either with Kendrick Lamar or is that single. What say you? What are your thoughts? And here's the producers for his album. He has stuff like he has production by White Gold, Dr. Dre, Metro Boomin, Alchemist, you know, Dr. Dre. I already said Dr. Dre. But Helluva is rumored to produce a track for Eminem. Another person is Kanye West. Now, with that being said, I can definitely hear Eminem and this artist on the song. I can definitely see with that Kanye West production, Eminem and Future being on a song. And Eminem and Future was pretty much all on the same song because Eminem released Book of Rhymes and Future released that same type of song. They were on the same beats and stuff, but I believe M and Future definitely gonna get the collab in. And as far as Eminem and Andre 3000, that's not happening anytime soon. And as far as Eminem and J. Cole, I'm at a 2%. I believe M wants a song with Kendrick more than Cole. Eminem and Kendrick has been on the same beats. They've been trading. Alchemist said this. I'm not lying. That Meet the Grounds was for Eminem. Eminem was planning to do a dark song with that and add his own instrumentals and stuff to it. But changed it. And here's the thing. Since 2019, Eminem and Kendrick Lamar have been changing beats, trading stuff the most. There's no reason for y'all not to believe Eminem and Kendrick don't have a song. There's no reason for y'all not to believe that. And for the 50 Cent and Eminem album, I 100% believe it, but the problem is, like I said, the problem is just 50 not really being motivated. And then this whole T.I. thing, because Eminem is homies with T.I. Eminem was the only rapper to call T.I. while in prison. T.I. helped Eminem with his rehab. Eminem said it. T.I. said it. Eminem helped T.I. with his rehab. They both the same height. I've been around both of them in person. T.I. mostly, but I stood next to T.I. and Eminem. They're both the same height. M's not a midget. He just looks like that because he's around Paul Rosenberg, who should be in NBA, and 50 Cent, who looks like a heavyweight boxer. And he's around a lot of tall people, like 6'3" and up. So M's around a lot of tall people. That's why he looked like a midget, but he's average male size. But here's the thing. The reason why I say this M and 50 album, I think is still in the works because of the 8 Mile series. That show is still greenlit. In case y'all didn't know. It's smart for 50 Cent and Eminem to release an album together in 2027. And Eminem to drop his solo album this year. Because that 8 Mile series is scheduled for 2027. Is it? Yeah, it's pretty much like the BMF, but it's scheduled for 2027, and that's what that's looking like. So, yeah. To conclude this, Eminem is a victim in all of this. Plus, Eminem did see the Stan's tweets and the Reddit posts. He was betrayed and pissed, but still took the time out to smile and drop a Stan documentary. Then do a meet and greet and drop an unreleased fire song called Everybody's Looking at Me, sampling Michael Jackson. Eminem also released The Death of Slim Shady for his fans, even though he was already working on another album. Like, he already had another album in mind and had already planned. He felt bad about his fans waiting years for new music and dropped that album. He didn't want them to wait 2 more years all the way to 2026, right? So he dropped that album. He gave them promos, shows, and appeared on Netflix. Eminem then dropped music videos and many features since Music to Be Murdered By drop. And just to feed the fans a little bit, give them a little taste, right? During his 2021 to 2023 hiatus, Eminem will hop on tracks with the likes of Nas, Easy Mill, Cordae, Grip, Juice WRLD, Jack Harlow, LL Cool J, Polo G, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and Nas. He even did a Super Bowl performance. During the pandemic, he put his fans in his Higher music video, just so that these same fans would complain and betray him. Every day on X, they would dump on his merch, dump on a curtain call 2 greatest hits, dump on his interviews, dump on his flows for each feature, beg for leaks, beg for Relapse 2, ask Marshall to retire, and spam his daughter's comments on her podcast, forcing him to appear. Also, pay for leaks. Then when they dropped, the Stand said, I'm glad these records leaked. Shame on Eminem. They would bother Paul Rosenberg to the point he turned off his comments and left X completely. He has AI dropping for it, like making posts for him. Eminem was also harassed for 4 years and also dissed every week by the likes of As Is, who called Eminem a pedo, who touched his own kids, who also said he would ejaculate on his pregnant daughter's belly, made accusations about Eminem stealing his style, then did a race war. Eminem was also dealing with disses from The Game. Benzino dissing him in every interview known to man, dropped a diss track dissing his dead homie, then pulled up to Detroit to his restaurant throwing spaghetti all over the place. And then Melly Mel, Academic, Sean C, RDC World, Tony Yayo, and Matt Hoffa's constantly bringing Marshall, ops up on the show in order to get clicks. That's why Eminem didn't show up on that show. Matt Hoffa will constantly bring up Eminem ops or bring up Eminem's name on almost every single show. He will allow people to diss him and then act like, oh yeah, I'm arguing in defense of Eminem, this and that. I know Eminem shouted us out on the Crooked Eye show. I know Eminem rocks with me, but he's not going to pop up on your show right now due to the fact that you keep bringing his ops. That makes zero sense to me. And he was doing this in order to get clicks. Eminem will also go through being a grandfather, Lions making the playoffs and losing due to the stupid coach, and Slaughterhouse beefing over petty stuff while using his name in their diss songs. So more homies dissing. Then 50 Cent being the Batman, being the Robin to Tony Yayo. Tony Yayo pulled up on T.I.'s homie with some guns, jumped him with a group of people when 50 Cent said he down to do the verses. T.I. was like, get your homie Tony Yayo or we going to war. Tony Yayo was like, hey, it's either me or Tip. You diss Tip right now. You diss T.I. right now. You cut all ties with him or we done. I'm exposing all your dirty laundry and I'm pulling up on you. You don't have other friends besides me. Game was your homie. I told you no. If Eminem crosses the line, I'm stepping in. Me and Royce already have a plan to step in. And we gonna cut all ties to you two. 50, you aren't the boss no more. I'm the master. I'm the boss. That's what Tony Yayo is doing, the 50. And when 50 was getting whooped on, stumped on all winter long, Tony Yayo said nothing. He sat back on that trash podcast, laughed his butt off, threw pillows at Ja Rule on the plane, and then did not come to 50 Cent's defense while he was getting whooped by the king. The king of the South was whooping him. Damani was whooping him. Tony Yayo said nothing, even though he started the whole situation. I have an X post also pinned in the comments exposing everything that Tony Yayo has done. This is going back to 2006 when T.I. and 50 Cent were close friends. Tony Yayo kept on forcing himself in pictures, tried to grab T.I.'s leg while he was performing, and then was begging like a little cheerleader in the crowd saying, hey, grab my hand. Forced his hand out to T.I. and T.I. slapped his hand. T.I. was in the middle of a photo shoot and Tony Yayo was like, get in the photo with me, trying to bully T.I. And T.I. was like, I'm tired of Yayo. I don't know what's Yayo's problem with me. But Yayo keeps messing with me. He messed with the wrong one. When I see Yayo was up, 50, get your homie. Now, Eminem, because of Tony Yayo, Eminem might have to choose sides. Eminem has to choose sides now. Royce the 5'9" also instigating the whole thing too, because he was resharing AI photos of 50 Cent getting beat up by T.I. He was showing AI photos of T.I. getting beat up by 50 Cent. And then he's constantly doing something similar to Math Hoffa by appearing up on Eminem's Ops, Clubhouse interviews and letting people disrespect him, even though the homie. He's letting it happen multiple times. That's why you guys don't see no BME too. But and then he made excuses and saying I don't want to do it. But then he makes a Bad Meets Killer song with some random rapper nobody knows about last year. And then he's making songs with off-brand Eminems from other countries. So that's another spit in Eminem's face, even though M's too scared to admit it publicly. But yeah, we all know, we all see it. M is also in his 50s, being unable to move the way he used to. M's life been stressing hell. He's also in these lawsuits, waiting on features, samples to clear, Interscope and doing this. His artists not holding up to their side of the deals. Easy Mill delaying processes for no reason. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. What are your thoughts on this? Did I go too far? Did I reach? Comment down below.